Think back to the last time someone sat down with you and went through every single payment, every supplement, every entitlement, and offset you are legally entitled to as an Australian pensioner, and checked line by line that you were actually receiving all of it. For most people watching this, that conversation has never happened. Not with Centrelink, not with a financial advisor, not with anyone. And that is not a small problem, because for Australians born before 1958, there are several real documented entitlements sitting inside the Centrelink and ATO system right now that may never have been claimed, may have been incorrectly assessed, or may have changed in ways that mean you are currently receiving less than you are legally entitled to. If you were born before 1958, which means you have reached or passed the current age pension qualifying age, stop what you are doing right now, because by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which entitlements are most commonly missed by pensioners in your age group, why Centrelink does not always volunteer this information, and what you can check this week to make sure every dollar you are entitled to is actually reaching your account. If you do not watch this to the end, you could continue going without money that the system already has set aside for people in exactly your situation, and the system will not chase you down to correct that. Before we go any further, if you are not already subscribed to Pension Today AU, please do that right now. Centrelink will not personally contact every pensioner when rules shift and more changes are expected across the rest of 2026. YouTube will not always surface these updates when you need them. The notification bell is the only reliable way to make sure you hear about changes before they affect your payment. Now let me explain why Australians born before 1958 specifically are the group most likely to have unclaimed or underclaimed entitlements sitting in the system, and why 2026 is a particularly important year to check. Australians born before 1958 have reached or passed the age pension qualifying age, which is currently 67 years for most people. That means this group has either already been on the age pension for a number of years, or may recently have become eligible and has not yet explored everything they are entitled to. And here is the part that most people never hear clearly. The age pension is not a single payment. It is a base rate plus a series of supplements, add-ons, and associated entitlements, and not every one of those components is automatically applied to every eligible recipient without any action on their part. Some require a separate check, some require updated information, and some have changed over the years in ways that mean a pensioner who was correctly assessed 5 years ago may no longer be receiving the full amount they are entitled to today. On top of that, Australians in this age group are the most likely to have superannuation and other financial assets from past employment that may be sitting unclaimed in the system, with the ATO currently holding billions of dollars in lost and unclaimed superannuation on behalf of Australian account holders who have simply never known it was there or never taken the steps to reclaim it. And here is what I need you to understand clearly about how all of this works. Centrelink does not pause and wait for you to catch up. Once your entitlements are assessed and a payment rate is set, the system moves forward at that rate until something changes. If your circumstances have shifted, if a supplement was never correctly applied, or if information on your record is out of date, the outcome may not reflect your full entitlement, not because you did something wrong, but because the system did not have what it needed from you to get it right. Being aware of this and taking the time to check your record is not complicated, and the potential outcome of doing so could be meaningful. But before we get into the specifics, let me say something clearly. The age pension is not being taken away. Your entitlement is not under threat. For the vast majority of pensioners whose circumstances are accurately recorded and whose payments are correctly assessed, this video will be a reassuring confirmation that everything is in order. But for those who have never had anyone walk them through the full picture of what they are entitled to, and for those who have not reviewed their Centrelink record in some time, what I'm about to cover may be the most financially significant 10 minutes you spend this week. There are 4 areas of entitlement that Australians born before 1958 are most commonly either missing entirely or receiving at less than their full eligible rate. Let me take you through each one clearly. The first is the pension supplement and energy supplement, two components of the full age pension rate that are not always fully understood by the people receiving them. The full age pension is made up of a base rate plus the pension supplement plus the energy supplement. The pension supplement is a combined payment that brings together a number of older separate allowances, including what was previously the telephone allowance, utilities allowance, and GST supplement, into a single fortnightly amount. The energy supplement is a separate small addition on top of that. Together, these supplements add a meaningful amount to the base pension rate for eligible recipients. What some pensioners do not realise is that the pension supplement can in some cases be paid quarterly rather than fortnightly. If a pensioner elected that option at some point and their circumstances have changed, or if there has been a break in payment, the supplement arrangements may not reflect their current preference or situation. If you are not certain exactly how your fortnightly payment is broken down, what portion is base rate, what portion is pension supplement, and whether the energy supplement is included, that is worth confirming through MyGov or by calling Services Australia on 132300. A payment that looks like the correct total may in some cases be missing a component that should be there. Moving to the second, rent assistance, which is one of the most consistently underclaimed entitlements in the entire Centrelink system. If you are an age pension recipient and you pay rent, whether for a private rental, a retirement village, a caravan park, or certain other forms of accommodation, you may be entitled to rent assistance on top of your base pension and supplements. Rent assistance is not automatically applied unless your rental situation is declared and verified on your Centrelink record. For pensioners who have moved into rental accommodation since they first applied for the age pension, or who have entered a retirement village or similar living arrangement, the question of whether rent assistance has been correctly assessed and applied to their payment is worth checking. The amount available through rent assistance can in some cases make a significant difference to a pensioner's fortnightly income, and for those who have never declared their rental situation to Centrelink or who have had a change in living arrangements, there may be entitlement that has never been claimed. A call to Services Australia on 132300 or a check through MyGov can confirm whether rent assistance is currently part of your payment assessment and whether your living situation on file is accurate. The third area, and this is one that surprises a significant number of pensioners who hear about it for the first time, is the Home Equity Access Scheme. Formerly known as the Pension Loan Scheme, the Home Equity Access Scheme is a voluntary government program that allows eligible older Australians who own property to access additional fortnightly income by using the equity in their home as security for a government-provided loan. Under this scheme, eligible age pension recipients, including full pensioners and part pensioners, can receive fortnightly payments above their current pension rate, up to a capped maximum set by the government. The payments are not a gift. They are a loan secured against the value of your property, repaid when the property is eventually sold. But for pensioners who are asset-rich and income-poor, who own their home outright but find their fortnightly pension insufficient for their day-to-day needs, this scheme may offer a meaningful option that has never been explained to them. The scheme has specific rules, eligibility requirements, and implications that are worth understanding carefully before making any decision. The Financial Information Service through Services Australia, which is a free service, can help you understand whether the scheme might be relevant to your situation without any obligation to proceed. And the fourth, this is the one most people miss entirely, and for Australians born before 1958, it could be the most financially significant item on this list. The ATO is currently holding billions of dollars in lost and unclaimed superannuation on behalf of Australian account holders. This money comes from superannuation accounts that became inactive, often because a person changed jobs, moved address, or lost track of a fund, and were eventually transferred to the ATO under the unclaimed superannuation money provisions. Australians who were in the workforce during the 1980s and 1990s, when superannuation was first being introduced and fund management was less consolidated than it is today, are among the most likely to have accounts from former employers that they may have lost track of over the decades. The ATO's online service, called ATO Online through MyGov, has a function specifically for searching for lost and unclaimed superannuation. It searches the ATO's records and the records of the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority and shows you any super accounts associated with your tax file number that you may not be aware of. If you have not used this tool recently, or if you have never used it, that search takes only a few minutes and could reveal superannuation money that has been sitting in the system waiting to be claimed for years. For Australians born before 1958 who are at or past preservation age, that money can generally be accessed and may in some cases represent a significant amount. None of these 4 areas involve applying for new benefits you have never been entitled to. Every one of them is about checking whether entitlements and money that already belong to you have been correctly applied, correctly assessed, or correctly identified within the systems that hold them. The system does not volunteer this information automatically. It waits for you to check. None of what I have just described changes your base pension entitlement. These are additions, supplements, and associated entitlements that sit alongside the base pension. And making sure they are correctly in place is simply about ensuring that what you are entitled to is what you are receiving. Here are 4 steps you can take this week. Step 1. Log into MyGov and open your Centrelink account. Look at your most recent payment summary and identify each component of your payment: base rate, pension supplement, energy supplement, and any other additions. If you are not certain what each component is or whether anything is missing, call Services Australia on 132300 and ask a staff member to walk you through your payment breakdown. Step 2. Confirm whether your living situation is accurately recorded on your Centrelink record. If you pay rent of any kind and rent assistance is not currently part of your payment, ask Services Australia whether you may be eligible and what information they need to assess it. This is not a new application. It is a check on whether an existing entitlement is being correctly applied to your situation. Step 3. Log in to MyGov and use the ATO online super search function to check whether any lost or unclaimed superannuation is associated with your tax file number. This search is free, takes only a few minutes, and could identify superannuation money you may not have known existed. Step 4. Share this video with someone you know who was born before 1958 and is on the age pension or approaching pension age. Most Australians in this age group have never had anyone sit down and explain the full picture of what they may be entitled to. And most will only find out something was missing when it is too late to go back and claim it from earlier years. Passing this along today could make a real difference to someone you care about. Before we close, I need to say something important about scams, and this is directly relevant to today's topic. As awareness grows about unclaimed superannuation and Centrelink entitlements, scammers are targeting older Australians by contacting them and claiming they have found unclaimed money or a pension overpayment that requires a fee to release or a verification of details to process. The ATO will never contact you asking for payment to release unclaimed superannuation. Centrelink will never ask for a fee to correct your payment or access an entitlement you are owed. And neither agency will ever ask for your MyGov password, your bank account details, or your tax file number through an unsolicited phone call or text message. If you receive any contact like this, hang up immediately or delete the message. Go directly to MyGov through the official website to check whether anything genuine requires your attention, or call the ATO on 132861 or Services Australia on 132300. Using the numbers from the official websites only. So here is where we are. Australians born before 1958 are among the most likely group in this country to have pension entitlements that are not fully applied, supplements that have not been checked recently, rent assistance that has never been claimed, and superannuation that has been sitting in the ATO's system waiting to be found. You now understand the 4 specific areas most worth checking, and you have 4 straightforward steps you can take this week to make sure everything you are entitled to is actually reaching you. That is more than most pensioners in Australia currently know, because Centrelink did not tell them, and the system had no reason to volunteer the information. More updates are coming through the rest of 2026, and Pension Today AU will be here every step of the way to make sure you are never the last to know. Subscribe now, not for more videos, but because your pension and your entitlements deserve someone keeping watch on your behalf. Until next time, take care of yourselves, log into MyGov this week, and remember, your pension, your rights, your future.